Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely crucial and honestly super high stakes. We're looking at exactly how automated road cameras are used to track down victims of abduction and trafficking. But, it's not just a straightforward story about technology saving the day. It's also a story about the intense, completely valid privacy concerns that these surveillance systems trigger in our neighborhoods. We're unpacking a deeply researched paper that tackles this exact tension, so let's just jump right in. All right. Picture this for a second. That jarring amber alert flashes across your phone. A child has just been taken, a car is speeding down the highway, and the clock is literally ticking. In that very split second, the crime enters a physical space. It's moving along a transportation network where every single passing second matters to the parents, to law enforcement, and obviously to the victim. And that brings us to Section 1, Crimes on the Road, where we establish the physical reality of a crime in progress. Look, serious offenses, whether we're talking human trafficking, kidnapping, or running contraband, they don't just happen in a vacuum, right? They happen out there within what's called the transportation layer. This is the physical network of roads, intersections, and routes that a criminal actually has to traverse. And because cars take up physical space, they leave observable identifiers in the real world as they move. To really put the importance of this into perspective, just look at this number, 1,312. As of December 2025, the DOJ's Amber Alert program reported that 1,312 children had been successfully recovered. How? Well, largely because actionable descriptions of fleeing vehicles were broadcasted out. It basically turns the public and our infrastructure into one massive search grid. A vehicle description is hands down one of the most actionable pieces of info you can have in an abduction. Moving right along to Section 2, How Cameras Find Victims. Let's look at the exact mechanism behind automated license plate readers, or ALPRs. So how does this actually work in real time? It's basically a super fast four-step automated workflow. Step 1, the camera snaps a rapid image of a passing car. Step 2, the software extracts the license plate and vehicle features, turning them into machine-readable data. Step 3, the system cross-checks that data against authorized hot lists, like the database for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And finally, Step 4, if there's a hit, boom, it generates a real-time alert for law enforcement. The absolutely crucial thing to remember here is that the camera doesn't look inside the car. It doesn't decide guilt. All it does is flag that a specific vehicle passed a specific point. And honestly, it is vital to separate what an ALPR observation actually is from what it absolutely does not prove. It grabs the plate number, the vehicle specs, the date, time, and camera location. That's it. It does not prove who was behind the wheel, or who's in the passenger seat, or what's hiding in the trunk. It doesn't even give cops probable cause just by itself. Human verification is still 100% required. The machine's entire job is just indexing a vehicle at a certain place and time. Which leads us to a pretty straightforward geometric reality known as the detection principle. If you take a camera offline, you create a literal blind spot. Eliminating a functioning observation point completely eliminates your chance to spot a wanted vehicle right there. And when an abductor is moving a victim, a blind spot is exactly what they need to slip by completely undetected. But taking cameras offline is exactly what some communities are demanding right now. That brings us to Section 3, the privacy backlash, looking at the valid pushback against these dense surveillance networks. Take Ord, Nebraska, for example. Their city council actually voted unanimously to just yank their flock ALPR cameras entirely. Why? Because of profound, deep concerns over unchecked mass tracking. Residents are asking who controls this data, who's searching it, how long it sits on a server, and whether outside agencies can peek at it. And you know what? Those are exactly the questions a free society should be asking. This isn't just paranoia. It is a fundamental democratic concern for sure. So what are the actual real-world risks here? While privacy groups like the ACLU have documented genuine dangers, we're talking major mission creep, where a system bought to catch car thieves is suddenly tracking people for minor infractions. There are real risks of unauthorized cross-agency access, like outside departments rummaging through a small town's data. There's the terrifying potential to track journalists or protesters or lawful political activity, plus real allegations of police misusing the system for internal or personal reasons. If you keep this data forever, it basically becomes a permanent dossier of where ordinary people worship, who they hang out with, and what doctors they go to. And right here is where we hit a really profound philosophical dilemma. It's the fictitious minor versus the actual missing child. The source points out this wild contradiction. As a society, we totally allow the government to aggressively build elaborate fake online personas for sting operations. But at the same time, some communities are willing to go entirely blind, ripping out all road sensors when a real physical child is abducted. It really tests whether we're willing to preserve a physical detection system when the victim is a living, breathing person in immediate danger. So how in the world do we balance the desperate parent searching for a child with the everyday commuter who just wants their drive kept private? Let's get into Section 4, Regulating the Eye. The central thesis of the source material offers a middle path. It argues that this doesn't have to be a zero-sum game between total mass surveillance and total blindness. The answer is actually pretty simple. Regulate the eye, do not blind the road. You make the machine exceptionally difficult to use against innocent people, but you keep it devastatingly effective when a legitimately wanted vehicle is carrying a victim away. So instead of an outright ban, the paper proposes this Nebraska Plus policy model. Now, Nebraska already has strict rules prohibiting government ALPR use outside of very specific exceptions, but the Plus model, it cranks it up. Instead of letting data sit for up to 180 days, it pushes for a strict 30-day default deletion. After 30 days, poof, routine data is gone. It demands mandatory audit logs with real case numbers for every single search. It requires a human to verify all alerts, and crucially, it disables that default nationwide sharing, which puts a stop to the cross-agency snooping. This framework intentionally guts the mass surveillance threat, but it keeps that rapid emergency net totally intact for true physical emergencies. Ultimately, this whole explainer leaves us with a huge balancing act. Communities have to weigh the geometry of rescue against the geometry of privacy. You can protect the citizen from the state, and you can protect the child from the predator. We really don't have to pretend those two obligations are enemies. But as we figure out the future of our physical transportation layer, it leaves every single one of us with one profound question to answer. How dark do you want the road?